So this is lab 5. Lab 5 is on PCA for dimensionality reduction. And the first task, right, is actually on Spark data types, which will be used in PCA, right? So, and notice that in the data frame API, PCA is under extracting, transforming and selecting features. As is under this module, right? So you can go through these links to learn. And another is from the data pre-processing, right? Like standard scalar in Spark, right? So it's also very useful for data normalization that you can take a look. And yeah, here are some references, right? So here we have touched some of these slightly, right? Like dense vectors. We have used it, but we didn't really talk about it formally. But here we are talking about it and talking about the data types in Spark, right? So we talk about the dense vector and the sparse vector, right? So and how you is an example of sparse vector, right? So and this is the sparse vector, right? So that's how you can inspect it. And you can also view it in a dense format, right? You view it in a dense format using two array, right? So then this is basically the dense format, right? Basically it's a 1, 0, and a 3, right? 1, 0, and 3. And so you can understand this now, right? So basically the 3 means there are 3 data points, and the first one this is index, right? So you have index for the first one and for the third one, right? So, and this is a value, right? So the value for the first one for index 0, and this is index 2, right? So therefore, if you convert into dense format, you just fill in zeros for those that we haven't specified. And this is labeled points, right? So that's also quite interesting. It's more like a pair, right? So like a pair of points. That's how to view it in a dense format. Local matrix, right? So that is dense matrix and sparse matrix, right? So dense matrix and sparse matrix. In a sparse matrix, right? So basically you have a row and a column index and the value, right? They are non-zero values. As non-zero values, this means it's a 3 by 2 matrix, right? So there are 3 non-zero values, right? So 9, 6, and 8, right? So you can view the dense matrix and the sparse matrix. Right? We can also convert, right? We can also convert sparse matrix to a dense matrix, right? So then you can print it, right? So to see the matrix is the previous sparse format is like this, right? So like at 0, 0, you have 9, right? You can compare 0, 0, you have 9, right? So 0, 0, 2, 1 have 6, right? The 2, 1, and 1, 1 have 8, right? So that's the conversion. And then distributed matrix, right? So especially row matrix, right? So that's what you see the API for PCA is under this module of row matrix, right? So There are some examples of row matrix. You can get a row matrix from this list. And you can use collect, right? So for RD, you use collect to print it out. Right? So print it out. And for the PCA, I think it's not difficult, right? So I think this lab is pretty straightforward. But they make use of the different data types like sparse and dense, right? So try to get used to the sparse and dense representations of vectors and also matrices, right? So the API are not difficult, I believe. And here you can also examine the model, right? So model for the PC, then PCA in RDD-based API, there's it's all from the row matrix module. And here we compute the same two principal components as in the data frame API. Right, so here I just do the SVD. We compute the SVD as well, and here you see I purposely make a mistake, right? So where the mistake is that I didn't do centering. So if you find that your SVD are different from your PCA, right? So you should be alarmed that you should always center your data. And so therefore here we use a standard scaler to center the data, right? So then afterwards you can get the same principal components, okay? So there is a one small scale exercise, right, for you to practice. Okay, so there are some interesting additional ideas for HR analytics, digraphers, and so on. Okay, so that finish all my part in scalable machine learning, right? So finish week 5 and also finish my part. And from next week, Maurizio will take over, and all the best to the remaining study journey. I hope this will be useful for your project and for your later jobs, right? For example, dealing with large data, and so especially that software development life cycle. Right? So I think it's a very general and it's very helpful. If you learn how to write software, try to reduce the development time, right? It can greatly can give you big relief. Okay, so I will stop here and all the best. Bye bye.